Konnichiwa, hello one and all. This is Kansas Otaku with you today, playing Monster Menu, the Scavenger's Cookbook on the PlayStation 5. Hope you're all doing well today. And apologies for my attempt to stream yesterday. If I know there might have been like one or two people that tried to pop in and watch. I don't honestly know what happened. Everything's looked like it was going pretty well. Um, I could see that someone was, like I said, one or two people were trying to pop in to watch. Played through, made a decent amount of progress. Got to the boss of well, actually, yeah, it was the boss of the second dungeon area, which was the giant, was it black caterpillar worm or whatever it was. Was able to beat it without too much trouble. Got through the third level, which was a forest area, and had to fight a giant boar enemy. Lost my lancer, and as I was in the process of trying to plan on what to do, if I was going to continue through at least the first floor of the next area just to see if there was a shrine that I could revive my lancer. The stream cut off, and then checked throughout the day yesterday to see what all got uploaded. Nothing showed up last night, and then when I checked this morning, all of like 6, maybe 7 minutes made it in. So that was like the first. Yeah, just the first little segment. Basically, all it was me talking here in this camp area about stuff I had found out playing online, or not playing online, reading online about the game, like recommendations and the like. I'll just wrap it up really quick here. So my Lancer, which is girl number 2, the one in the middle of the 3, is one of the best classes for her ranged attack and overall health and defense. The 2 girls on either side are about mid-range, and then I chose the archer, which they consider to be the worst. But I've got a very good bow right now. I've got several perks, I guess you could call them, added onto it. So everything's good. Like I said, I made it through the second floor, or the second part of the dungeon, which was the plains, and continued on through floor 3, or area 3, which was a forest. Came across a couple of new enemies, mainly a zombie type, and then like this giant boar, which ended up being the boss of that level. A lot more enemies to take on in that. Came extremely close to losing my party leader, my main character here. The Lancer, like I said, had perished during the fight, so I lost her, but the game does let you revive party members. So I was able to get her back, and basically, yeah, that's where I left off. And overall, it was a loss of a few hours of content, but as far as like a stream goes, it wasn't that bad because I didn't really have the best stuff to talk about. I maybe did some commentary during the gameplay, but a lot of times I was just silent, just going through the flow of trying to grind through a game. So not a total loss. Back at it today, hoping that everything stays connected as far as stream goes. I guess I'll find out after the end of the day if I check and I see that. Like I checked my phone before I started, like I usually do, just to see that it was being up, you know, or being shown live, which it was. But I did that yesterday too, and then I got that notification, like I said, like 2 or 3 hours in, saying that the stream has been disconnected, and then apparently only 6 minutes of it was salvaged by YouTube. So we'll see how it goes today. Gonna try to do a little bit better job of talking, and of course checking out these areas, collecting what I can, taking on the enemies, seeing if I can't multitask. So yeah, this area that we're at now is like a beach area. So a lot of enemies I've taken on before, and then some new ones. And I guess one of the things that I didn't get to talk about, or I talked about yesterday, that did get saved through that upload, but I just deleted the thing just because it's just 6 to 7 minutes of me talking and not anything else going on. So it's like, it's not worth it. But yeah, because it's the game that's called the Scavenger's Cookbook. Cooking is everything in this game. Scavenging is also everything in this game. So yeah, it is a case where you're wanting to do basically everything you can for the sake of survival. And things that might come off as being garbage are not. Like I was throwing out spoiled ingredients and stuff. Apparently, those things you can feed to your enemies during combat. Whether it has a positive or negative effect is still not really known to me. But it's just still interesting that, if I had like my character with the bow and arrow, even if I didn't have any arrows, I could look at my inventory and say, well, I've got spoiled ingredients, so I could feed them to the enemy, and that would poison the enemy. So little things like that are kind of fascinating about the game. I did find out that it's like the PlayStation Network description of the game had it listed as an SRPG, which in my understanding meant a strategy role-playing game. I can kind of see that, but it's honestly less a strategy role-playing game and actually more of a roguelike. So like every level of the map is randomly generated or procedurally generated, however you prefer, or whichever term you prefer to use for it. So like the weapons I might be able to get, the enemies I might encounter, it's all going to be random. Like there's the times where I got very unlucky and had a level where it was like completely saturated with enemies, which depending on what kind of enemies they are could be a blessing in disguise, or basically like I said, it's like it could either be a case where like they're enemies that aren't too tough, like these guys. So it's a case or an opportunity to gather a lot of material. And it does seem like that is the main goal, that you're wanting to basically kind of keep your player levels around the same, if not a little bit higher than your current floor level. So like we're on floor 32 and my character's around level 32, 33. So good, but obviously could. Well, the main thing is you usually want to try and have your levels a little bit above, so that way you're not struggling as much during the tougher fights. So yeah, pretty good here. So we'll go ahead and rest. The one thing I always got to remember, because the nighttime is still awful. Some of those enemies just are tanks in the nighttime. So even on the easiest difficulty, which I'm on, I try to remind myself every time I rest on a floor, reset before I do anything else. Because when you rest, you lose your calories and your hydration, which is the little bars underneath your health. And then this is the point where you check your equipment, see if you've got any new either weapons or clothing items that you can equip or possibly swap out and upgrade on your characters. So like this one, Rose has the topaz ring equipped already. I could swap it out for another one. The only thing is that the one I've got right now has attack up on it, where the other one doesn't. So more than likely, this ring's going to get thrown out. So with this one, it is a increase in attack from the bronze spear to the ritual spear. So we're definitely going to swap that out. Topaz ring, again, same stats, except that one's the one that she's got equipped right now has an extra, so we'll just leave that. And then of course her hand axe is better than the primitive axe, so not going to worry about that. So once I do that, what I want to do is go to disassemble, take the items that I've got, and go ahead and dismantle those. Recipes. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Recipes, yeah. So I can make bait, which I still don't know how the bait and traps, I don't know how those work. I don't know if the game's going to tell me at some point, or if I'm completely missing something. The game doesn't really tell you a whole lot. It's kind of one of those where it's like, figure it out on your own. I did find out through the online reading that the repair kits are more or less worthless. What you really want are these enhancer kits, because those are what you use to get the additional stats. So like on this bracelet here, there's all these stats, and say on this one here, that mimic shield is grayed out. If I use an enhancer kit, that unlocks that. So obviously I don't know if I'd even use a mimic shield. I'm not even sure what that does. But say on this magic hood. So if I had 3 enhanced kits, I could get hydration, conservation, luck up, and movement up for that character with that hood equipped. So pretty good stuff. Like this is my my bow right now for my main character. Durability, yes. It's not great right now, but unless I used a repair kit directly on it, doing the repair all on that one menu is kind of pointless. But yes, speed up, process resistance up, more shards, formless shield, extra shovel. Apparently, you could do digging in this game too. I don't know how to go about doing that. Again, it's like some of the stuff that the game kind of wants you to do stuff on your own. Like I've got a couple of broken things here that I don't know what their purpose is. I don't know if I'm supposed to combine it with something to make an item that can be used. It's just, yeah, seems like it's overly complicated, which, you know, if you're an experimentalist, like someone who wants to basically try different things just to see what works or what doesn't, it's probably going to be a fun experience. But for someone who kind of basically wants their hand held and told what to do, it's not going to be a fun time. So, I've got the recipes here. I've gotten a few new ones and some that I've had over time. The bugs, even though it loses happiness, they're still supposedly pretty important to have. So I'll make a couple of items here. Usually try to, well, depending on what ingredients I get, a lot of times I've been basically using up everything on each floor because with the time, a lot of stuff spoils quickly. I usually, well, when I was playing yesterday, I was going off the beaten path and I was experimenting with stuff, say, like the fried herbs here. I could stick with that, or I could be a little creative and say I've got, you know, this here and this here. So let's throw that in there. And I could either, even though it's got these fish in it, I could still either make it the fried veggies or I think this is the fresh veggies or raw veggies. So yeah, as you can see, it got 2 stars. So that's kind of one of the things on why you want to add other stuff onto a regular recipe. To use up those ingredients and whatever. Okay, so I think that was 4 dishes, so we'll divvy them up to everyone. This one would probably be the best for my guy, so we'll do that. The fried kebab is her favorite, so we'll give her that. I'll give her that one. And her the fish. Okay, so I still got a lot of stuff. Let me go ahead and make one of these just to use on my bow. Grab the bow and that repair kit. There we go. And then let's see what's in my inventory that's taking up a lot of space. Okay, so if I cut those, it makes branches. If I grill it, it makes charcoal. And charcoal does have some good elements. I think crushed charcoal does like a poison cure. I did experiment with all these to see what each of these does. The rocks are, in my opinion, I think they're worthless. So we'll dump all those. Not sure what happens with these. It looks like nothing. Oh yeah, let's cut these. It's a little bit more. I don't know. Well, I guess I could look at everything. Like, that's just, like, the image of it is just grayed out, so I don't know if I keep scrolling on these, like, if something different will happen. Oh well. That'll be fine for now. Good chance that by the time I get through this level that I'm going to be over encumbered again, but that'll be fine. Why is it not letting me attack him? There we go. Ow. Alright, I'm gonna cut off your head. Bye. Oh wait, that's the floor. Okay. Well, it's nice to know the exit's there. Ooh, a crab monster. Hooray, we killed the crab. Ah, we only got guts. That's stupid. I want crab meat.
何かありそうだ。何かありそうだ。経験上は何かいるぞ。甘く見ない方がいい。大丈夫そうだ。甘い。今の手に甘い。経験上はここだな。何かいるぞ。ここだな。何かありそうだ。
I got a snowflake.
何かいるぞ。
Alright, let's... I got plenty, so let's enhance. Just get my stats jacked.
なんとかなりそうだ。狙う。問題ない。やっちゃうよ。何かありそうだ。ここだな。何かありそうだ。
Alright, already over encumbered, which kind of expected.
ここだな。
Not the end of the world as long as I get back over to the exit before dark, which is going to be cutting it a little close.
なんとかなりそうだ。狙うぞ。問題ない。やっちゃうよ。甘い。まだ大丈夫。なんとかなりそうだ。甘い。今の戦力。言ってあげる。まだ大丈夫。
Oh, I guess I could eat this enemy.
大丈夫そうだ。いい傾向だ。言ってあげる。大丈夫そうだ。甘い。ここだな。ここだな。
So yeah, one thing that is nice, at least right now, is that whenever I level up, my ability to carry stuff increases, or like the level of how much I can carry increases. Oh, wait, there was a shrine over here. Let me check this one out, see if it's got more enhance. Because as of right now, I do not see any way of, like, these shards that I've been getting as a currency, but I don't see any place I can use them. Besides at those shrines. Okay, so we'll check our equipment, see if there's anything new. Handmade bow, not great. Fairy bow, and stonecutter's knife. So no weapons. A wooden chest plate. My defense is probably the lower of everyone in the group, but I'm gonna hold off on that. Her defense is not great, so I'm gonna give it to her. There we go. Alright, let's see what dishes we could cook up. I might just go ahead and make a little bit of everything and then just feed it to everyone. I didn't like the thing that says about madness, but we're gonna risk it. All right. Let me stop there for now. Okay, so I had something bad. Now let's have something good. And I just realized I did not rest, which I said I was always going to do, so that sucks, but whatever. Alright, with her... Sure, we'll see what happens with her if she goes mad. But then I'll give her this and I'll make up for it. Oh, apparently she liked that. Let's give her this. And that. And yeah, we'll give her this. Okay. I'm fairly happy with that. Go ahead and save. Then we'll head on to the next floor. And this is a bad floor, alright. The music was bad, and, well, right now there's not, I'm fighting 3 enemies, but there's probably at least a dozen more on the map. Moira's already in rough shape, that sucks. I doubt I even have any items that can heal all that much. Let me take a look at everything. That would be fine. That would be fine. I guess I'm eating this. Oh my gosh. That thing's bad. That thing's very, very bad. Ah, crap, no! Well, do you want to see another aspect that you can do in this game that's kind of messed up? You can eat your ally! Oh my, I am definitely gonna lose on this. This is not good. What happened to me? Did I get poisoned? I just yeeted life. I was just like, okay, I'm out, bye. Alright, well, that is another thing about this game with the roguelike aspect to it. It said you're gonna die, and you're gonna die a lot. Unfortunately, I did not remember to check to see what my health or my attack was at that point, because yesterday I was kind of thinking like if the food that you eat, like it says you get points for attack and stuff like that, if it carries over each time or if it resets. So I guess I'll be finding out here. But thankfully, everyone's alive. Yay. Unfortunately, our stats, like our health right now, is completely shit. So let's see what my stats are. And yeah, everything did basically reset. That is not what I wanted. That's gonna make this a challenge though, because I might be able to do it. I just don't know how well it's gonna go. Let's start with. I guess we'll just start making some food, get some stats going. We'll just go from there. I don't care if my people aren't happy about it. We just gotta get something. All right. I'll eat the gross stuff. I could not care. You know, that apparently didn't go well, but who cares? All right. Yeah, you can have that one. You can have that one. You can have that one. Oh, I can make a good enhancer kit. Okay, so it looks like these higher levels, even though there's tougher enemies, will give me better stuff, which is nice. I just don't know if I want to do that now or if I want to hold off. I'll hold off for now. I guess I'm not too concerned about where things are right now, so let's just take a look here. So I'll start here just to see what it's like. If I die, I'll go back a floor. It'll suck, but starting off with bare bones stats, it's not great. If I find a simple enemy to fight, that should be fine. As long as I get the advantage on him. Oh, because he's sledge, maybe... this could be a bad idea. Let's... Like, it doesn't look like... And she's dead. Okay, so, yeah, this is probably... Like, they don't... The game doesn't advise... Guess what? I'm eating my ally, I don't care. Nom 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 nom. Well, I guess it don't matter. Okay, so, yeah, that's why it's like, yeah, they say you can, but... that just sucks. It wants you to go back to the very beginning and work your way back up through. And I don't like that. It's like, yeah, at some point your team is so good, but you get one mistake like I had where I thought my health was okay, but apparently I was either poisoned or something happened and I just died. So, yeah. I don't even know. Well, that was not what I wanted. Okay. I was gonna say, I don't really think I got any new equipment, so let me just disassemble these here. Go through the inventory again, throw out the stuff I don't really need. Yeah, that'll be fine for now. Alright, so, it's like, yeah, it says enemy strength on these is lower, but it really does seem like, because I was barely doing any damage to that one guy. So, yeah, let's just go back to the beginning. Most items here, like in the chest, are not going to be great. It's basically going to be a lot of stuff that I don't even need. But the enemy should be fairly easy to take out. So yeah, one-shotting enemies on this floor, which is fine, but it's like, you know, having to start from scratch, and it is disheartening, it's annoying. Let me see if I have any shards. Okay, I do have shards, so I could go ahead and just start enhancing myself again. Can only do it 3 times at an altar, but that'll give me added stats to further buff my team. At least my other stats seem to be okay, like my... Unless it's just gradual gains. And like right now I don't even need to rest on each floor. Let me check just to see. Like, the primitive axe is an epic one, but nothing that, like, I've already got a stronger weapon, so nothing that any of my party members really need. So apparently someone would like this, so let's make it. Can make another. And tell you what, since it's the early levels, I'm not gonna worry about resting. I think, unless they really beef them up, I don't think it'll be too bad. So I won't worry about resting until we get to like level or like floors 20 or so. Well, she would get another luck from that, so yeah, I'll give that to her. Alright, that should be good. Next floor. It's like it wouldn't be that bad if it wasn't for the fact that it's, you know, each biome is 10 floors. So I guess while I'm trying to get back my levels and getting back up to where I was, I can talk a little bit about, like, I did it once before, talking about my, like, yearly recap and game of the year type stuff, and, you know, things like that. Like, you know, since it's the end of the year, what all have I played? What all have I done? What was my best stuff? What was my worst stuff? So I did go back through my stream history to see, like, what all I've done throughout the year. Pretty random year, I'd have to say, as far as, like, what all I've done. And before I do that, I should make a comment. So it does look like what I can carry carries over, so that's a good thing. Showing that I can still carry a bunch of stuff. I feel like there's some other stats that carry over too. I'm just not sure what ones. Yeah, I'll go ahead and rest now. I thought I wasn't going to, but I'm too much of a chicken shit. I'm sorry. Okay, broadsword. That might be one for Rose. So, speed up. Critical rate up. I think we'll go with the crit. Black cape with an HP up. Sure. Alright, and then what can I make? Enhancer kit level 2. Let me check my guy's equipment again. see who could benefit the most. Actually, my magic hood there would benefit the most from that. Her quartz earrings could benefit. And her magic could. Okay, I'll make that and then use it on my hood. Alright. Right. Okay, now hood. Now if I go back... Okay, so it only did 2, but still, that's not bad at all. Can I make another one? I can make a couple, so I'll do that. And grab that hood again. Alright, that should be good. So yeah, back to talking about like a recap. Started the year with it was the Stalker series, playing those on stream. And for some reason I didn't think I had played any Switch games this year, but I did play it was either I'm in 3. I played 2 Point Campus, I played Rumi, and then I also played that Mad Games Tycoon, which the Mad Games Tycoon was a pretty fun one with, you know, business management and the like. The Idle Manager game was very tedious, and like you had to do a lot of grinding to get to a good point in it, but otherwise it was enjoyable, I'd say. Now it's like I was also trying to remember like what games did I play off stream as well as on stream, because there's a few here and there. I'm pretty sure there's several I'm missing. Like ones that had just been released or came out this year. There was Ball Pit, Blueprints, and of course Digimon Story. Did enjoy those pretty thoroughly. then, of course, a lot of games that I had played were ones that, didn't come out this year. There were ones that have been out for maybe a few years, but just, just now getting around to playing.
何かありそうだ。経験上は何かいるぞ。大丈夫そうだ。それここだな。ここだな。ここだな。ここだな。何かいるぞ。何かありそうだ。なんとかなりそうだ。
Trying to get to a good spot where I can attack. So if I go back to talking about like what I would consider my game of the year, like, if I was going based off of the games that came out this year, I would probably put like well, I'm not sure. Because I'm also trying to remember what games what all I played this year. I suppose if I had to do it right now on the spot, I would say which I'm still stalling. So I would probably say like probably number 3 would be Ball Pit because of how it's one of those incremental games where it's like you start off bare bones, not really being able to do a whole lot, and then you little by little you get to improve and progress, and at some point you are basically just overpowered. You're plowing through everything like it's nothing. And I like those type of games where it's like I can feel like I'm unstoppable. Number 2 would be Promise Mascot Agency because of how weird, obscure, and funny that game was. And then number 1 was the game that I had played on stream, but was one of the ones that had the fewest streams of, and that was the Midnight Walk, which I've already talked about, praising it. Just a game that I really enjoyed, really loved. There's, little things about it, like being mostly linear, like maybe having a harder time finding stuff compared to other games. Like little complaints like that just are completely overshadowed when you talk about how beautiful the world is, how well it is created and brings you in, makes you feel like a part of it. Like, the music was one of the things that I keep, like, even today, I'm still listening to music from the game. Like, there's games that I play and I look back on and I'm like, yeah, you know what? The music in that was really good. But those ones that you play and it pulls you in, it brings up memories, it brings up emotions. And of course, like, I actually went back and watched the end of, well, not the end of the stream itself, but the final bit of the game that I had streamed, and me just being completely dead silent for like the last 3 minutes of the game, and then throughout most of the ending credits. One, because I didn't want to talk over, well, couldn't talk over, because I felt like at that time that, because of what was going through my mind with comparing the theme of the game to real life, conflicts, drama, mental mindset. Forgot to rest. Screw me. Okay. And yeah, if I would have tried to talk at that time, I would have been getting choked up thinking about it and probably started to cry. And I'm not afraid to say that. I've had times where I've played games that did make me openly cry, and I think that's a wonderful thing that a game can do. If you could bring out that type of emotion in a person, you're doing something great. You're doing something that's more than just a game. So yeah, even though I spent some of the least amount of time this year on the game, it's still one that I hold with high regards. Would be just like, can't recommend enough if you want a game that will just immerse you in its world and bring out different levels of emotions. Now, as far as like a game that came out this year that you could say was a bad game, there weren't really that many games I played that came out this year that I would say were bad. Like, if anything, like the one I'm playing right now, or trying to play through right now, is called Skate Story, and you're a spirit who's made a deal with the devil. It's a very weird game because it's a skating game, but it's got a very interesting art style. It's got like a little bit of exploration in it. It's got a little bit of puzzles in it. It's got a little bit of boss fights in it. It's got art, poetry. You know, if you're not a fan of skateboarding games, then yeah, that could be one aspect that would make it not a great game to you. And yeah, I could argue that that's how it was for me. You know, the mechanics and how you skate are interesting to say the least. It's not like frustrating by any means, but you know, you gotta have a little bit of skill. You gotta basically don't want to just play it for an hour, stop for a week, and then try and get back into it a week later. You're gonna forget how it plays, but it's the kind of weird that I do like. I guess if anything, one of the games I played this year that came out this year that I would say was the worst was one that I still enjoyed, and that was Rust Rabbit. It's like it was very repetitive. It didn't really do a great job of explaining to you oh yeah, if you want to 100% this game, you're gonna have to not only basically explore every inch and every corner of each map, but you're also gonna have to do those random dungeon maps too. It's like, oh yeah, we forgot to mention oh yeah, there's only certain materials and parts that you can get in those maps that you will need to level up your weapons enough to complete the game or 100% the game. But you know, with the Japanese voice acting and with having the voice actor for Kazuma Kiryu of the Yakuza franchise being the voice of a adorable white rabbit, you know, I still enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Now, if I go and flip it around and say, okay, from all the games I played this year, no matter if it just came out this year or if it's been out for several years, I guess 3 games come to mind. One of them, it's not a bad game. Actually, 2 of them are not bad games. I could make someone mad by saying that. That's an epic iron bracelet. You know, let's not even worry about it. Let's just destroy it. No regrets. Alright, so the 3 that come to mind, the first one is that Power Rumi game that I played. It's a bullet hell shoot 'em up, and it's not a bad one. It's very beautiful. It has a very unique and interesting story where it's like Mayans, Aztec Mayans, whatever, um, having very advanced technology and the like. The only problems that I would say I had with it was that it was, well, over way too quickly, or, well, not that it was over way too quickly, but depending on what difficulty level you played at. And it's a tough, tough game, so if you want the full story, you have to play it on the hardest difficulty, and that's not my deal. I cannot play that. It's having to think way too much. My mind is mush. I can't concentrate like that. But for what else it did do, it's like I said, it wasn't that bad. Uh, the other game was, I think it was called Cozy Grove. And it was like a, I can't remember the genre that they call it. It's a comfort game, but the big drawback with that game is that it's all based in real time, so you can only do so much each day, and then you have to quit and then jump back into it. So if it's a casual game, like if you're playing it, just pop it in like early morning, do a few things, and then come back to it the next day, you're perfectly fine. But if you're wanting to play it as like a streaming game, it's the worst thing you could pick, because unless you are just a type that streams for an hour or so a day, it's like you're not going to get a whole lot of content out of it, which is what I found out. Okay, I really don't have anything else to use, so let me just stop that. And then, of course, the one game that I played that gave me rage moments because of the very poor controls was the Wonderful 101. It doesn't feel fair to bash on the game because it is a Platinum Games game. It's not, the worst thing out there, but it's just that those controls, which were originally designed for the Wii U, and it might have been just because the PlayStation 5 controller doesn't have as big as a touchscreen as the PS4, or it's not quite shaped the same, or what. But there's just way too many times where the game was like times where the game was like really epic and awesome, and I was really into it and enjoying it, and then it wants me to draw an image or a pattern on the touchpad, or even using the analog stick. That was the worst part. It's like, yeah, it gives you those options, but half the time, whatever you try to draw, the game was not registering it. More times than not, actually. I feel like there's like one of the very first ones the game wanted me to do. It felt like I was spending like 5 minutes trying to do it. And it's like, okay, well, you just went from pulling me in with this awesome intro to basically slapping me in the face for thinking it was a good game by putting in these very, very bad controls. The camera wasn't even that too much of a bother for me. It's like, yeah, it might have been pulled out too much, but I was tolerable with that. But yeah, just the controls for those segments where you had to swap like your ability, or doing a quick time event, which was the parts that were really getting me mad. And yeah, it just took the game from what was an enjoyable experience to borderline insufferable. And yeah, it sucks that I have to talk badly about a game, whether it deserves it or not, because obviously that's, that was a game that came out a few years ago, and even by those standards, when it did come out, it wasn't the worst game of the year. Now, the game that was arguably hands down the worst game of this year, that Mind's Eye, not the type of game I would play, so I was spared the horrors of that. And it's kind of one of those arguable things where it's like, well, which would be worse, having to play Mind's Eye or having to play through The Wonderful 101 again? And I don't know if I'd really want to know that answer, because it seems like, yeah, Mind's Eye's got way, way too many problems. But its controls might still be, at least playable. Now, as far as one thing goes, I would say that I think this was my most productive year as far as getting platinums in games. I'm not the type that's like, there are games that I do like to play and complete, but what's considered completing in one circumstance and platining a game in another are arguably two very different deals. I'm happy with the ones I did platinum. The first platinum I got this year was in Miniko's Night Market, which was one that I wasn't even sure if I'd be able to pull off, because there was some stuff that, some things that were locked by the seasons in the game, some that were connected to the story, like if you missed it in a crucial part of the story, you might be and a lot of it was like your fetch quest type stuff, like trying to get gifts for everyone in town, getting them the things that they liked, and yeah, some of it being pretty meticulous. Like you had like this person wants this item, but the only way you can get it is from this person, but they want this item before you can get it from that guy. So a lot.
経験上は何かいるぞ。何かありそうだ。ここだな。敵が近いな。大丈夫そうだ。狙う。経験上は
But yeah, once I got that platinum, I was pretty well good to go. I was like several games this year I got platinums in. I got Ball Pit, Promise Mascot Agency, I don't know if I got one in the Plucky Squire or not. I feel like there was like one or two games that I downloaded this year off of the PlayStation Network, played it, and once I got the platinum, I was like, I'm out, I'm done. Not that the game was bad or anything, it's just, once I got it, I was just like, alright, well, that was all I needed for that. Ben. A lot of games that were like monthly free downloads on PlayStation Plus. So that was one thing that determined what I did and didn't play. And that's kind of a hindrance too, because it also determines what games I've been purchasing physical copies of and which ones I haven't. Just because it's like, it's a game that I want to play, but at the same time I'm like, well, do I get it now, or do I basically just say, well, I'll just wait for it to come to be a free download on PlayStation Plus, and then I'll play it then. I said several games I platinumed, and now I'm drawing a blank on which ones. Rusty Rabbit I did. The one that got away from me that really hurt, it's, from being in my top 3 games of this year, and the one that I actually played the most this year was the Digimon Story. The only trophy that I haven't gotten in the game was for beating the game on, I think it was Mega Plus difficulty. And sadly, it's the only reason why that happened is because the game, well, you could argue the game doesn't play fair or easy. Where, even if you worked really hard, got your best Digimon to max levels, had all their stats maxed out, to where through the main story, you're kind of plowing through and making everything really easy. But once you get into Mega and Mega Plus difficulties, the game maxes out the stats for those Digimons at their current levels. So, yeah, you might come up against what's one of the smaller ones? Like a Betamon. I think that's like one of the rookies. A Betamon. I forgot to rest again. I hate myself. What was I even thinking about? So, like, a couple of the downsides to the Digimon game that I came across was the boss fights. You had a fair amount of challenge to them, but more times than not was just a grind. Like, their attacks would hurt you. You might be able to have a way to heal, but even like with your guys hitting them with weaknesses, they had massively over exaggerated health bars and stats that aren't normally given to those regular Digimon, so real disadvantage there. And you could say it sucked the fun out of the game near the end, where it's like you had several points where you're doing boss fight after boss fight after boss fight. And well, sadly for me, it was a case that I had to resort to buying the DLC content of uh, I guess it was material, money, and EXP grinding. Like these enemies that you'd fight that would drop your income or materials that you need to make certain things on the map for your digi farms, or more importantly, stuff to increase your EXP. And yeah, just doing that over and over and over again to max out your guys' stats. I forgot to dump out stuff. So I'm still slow. That's very smart of me. Well, let me see here. I really do need to go back and look at some of the stuff here to see like what stuff I do and don't need, or like if there's anything important I need to make. All right, well that dropped it down enough.
なんとかなりそうです。経験上はここだな。ここだな。経験上は
But yeah, it's like it was
何かいるぞ。
basically a real it felt like a real slap in the face to grind